Today I'm going to be talking about a quote from James Clear and how it applies to my life and how it applies to everyone's life, at least I believe. And that is, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. What does that mean? Well, I'll be sharing my story with you of my sort of curve this summer, and then we'll be going over how that is a representation of this quote. I've been living in Canada for a year, 2 years at university, and I've moved around. I had breakups, I've had lack of friends, I've had bad grades, I've just had the whole mix, right? And none of this, it all affected me, but it didn't really affect me as much as this. And that's because I'm a control freak. So what is the thing that a control freak likes the least? Well, losing control. So, I had a bad case of tonsillitis. For 4 years, I'd sort of been ignoring it, thinking, you know what, it'll come, it'll heal, it'll come, it'll heal. It didn't do that in the end. What happened is, it got to the point where in the middle of my finals, I was at the hospital spitting blood, and I was told, not asked, I was told, you're gonna do the surgery, you're gonna get your tonsils removed. Basically, I didn't have control. And I knew that by doing this, I would have to fail my last 2 exams, have them deferred, I don't know, some sort of solution. But I knew that I was losing control, I couldn't choose. And I didn't cry for 3 years, but that moment I just died. It just felt like overwhelming. Cried for an hour before the surgery, an hour after the surgery, and I was like, why is this happening to me? And afterwards, I was panicking, and on my way back home, I was like, okay, well, I've lost control, so what should I do? Instead of the reasonable answer, which is, I need to learn to let go, no, my dumbass was like, alright, well, you didn't control enough, so you're gonna control even more! You can control your emotions, your food, your everything. And that became basically the theme of my May and end of April period. I was just obsessed with controlling everything. I was like acting like a robot, repressing every emotion I had. I was having specific meals all the time. This one meal for like a month and a half, just over and over again, rinse and repeat, trying to control every second of my life, making plans to make sure that every second was put towards reading books, learning stocks, like all these, basically, I tried to my goal was just to super control, and I just tried to get there. Okay, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna get to controlling. While I was doing this, I also developed some systems of habits. Not specifically with James Clear and Atomic Habits, but just in general. I would have habit trackers where I had like 15 habits I was trying to develop, which was like reading, waking up at 6:30, everything that you saw in the routine video, and just a ton of little stuff. And basically after a month, my adrenaline for the control started dying down. At the same time, I realized that I was a control freak. I realized what I was doing, and I was like, okay, well, I kind of need to let go a little bit, because if I do this, then it's not gonna be cool. You could look at me and think I was barely human sometimes from the like intensity I was living my life with. So I decided I need to let go, I need to be more in touch with my feelings, I need to just sort of humanize myself and become more all-rounded. If you know anything about personality types, I'm a NI-IJ dom, so my weakness is control and like chaos. So basically I have this bad relationship. So I was just focusing, I realized I had to balance out to sort of get to an alpha stage. Anyways, that's for your MBTI knowers. But I let go, and I started getting in touch a bit more with who I was, sort of just accepting it, just looking myself in the face and being like, okay, yeah, you're a control freak, and yeah, you're a bit extreme right now, so you need to chill. And I realized basically as I started to let go and my brain started frying and I would wake up with nightmares from over-consuming every day, I had to let go for a week. And for a week, I stopped this intense regime. And what happened when it finished is I didn't go back to that intense way of living. I didn't read 5 hours a day, these crazy knowledge books. I started a bit varying it with fiction. I stopped reading stocks while I was eating, and I would just focus eating on what it would be. I would just start eating with my family again and sort of let go of the weird way I was doing it, for the least. What ended up sticking though was these little habits that I talked about. Those little things, those were the ones that stuck. Now I'm not with this intense regime, but I still read every day. I still go for walks every day. I still keep a diary every day. I still talk to people I enjoy talking to every day. And it sort of became more balanced. There's more of a, I understand my weakness. I'm gonna sort of, not control, I guess, yeah, I'm a control freak, but sort of just balance it out. Be like, okay, yeah, you don't spend enough time in the real world. Yeah, you need to sometimes just do it, you know? But now I'm at that stage. And I am no longer, after this transformation, where you could say I started at Luke 1.0, this Luke who was playing video games all the time, this Luke who was, I don't know, just sacrificing my identity and everything all the time for others, and just, I don't know, not working, whatever you want, just an unproductive guy. And now, this is not without boasting, but after this sort of Luke 1.0 to Luke 2.0, which was an intense way of living, I sort of fell back down, but I didn't fall back down to Luke 1.0. I fell back to what I can call Luke 1.1. And Luke 1.1 is much better than Luke 1.0, much better than Luke 2.0, because that was Luke 1.1 has healthy habits installed, because I set up systems, I set up these little things. And now, my life is sort of like changed. I added a few little elements, I moved my plane a few degrees, and I can tell that like my path is going much further. I'm not sticking in this wherever I would have been. I actually know what I want, and I'm not so much living in the future. I'm just focusing on building myself today. And by building the stepping blocks today, in the end, I'm gonna get results. It's not really the other way around. James Clear talks about this, to not really set yourself goals, but set up the systems. And so this brings us back to the quote I began with: you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And that's what happened. And so the better your systems are for self-improvement, and the better your everyday habits are, the better you're gonna angle yourself for life. Like, it doesn't take much to really change yourself. It takes desire, it takes asking yourself what your identity needs to be for you to be happy, and then figuring out how to achieve it by just setting little habits. Let's say you want to become someone super productive, and just say that every morning you want to do this tiny morning routine, or you want to you want to be someone really knowledgeable. Alright, well, so ask yourself, okay, I'm gonna read books now. So I'm gonna or an article, I'll just read one word of an article every day. And that's how it starts, and it just gets bigger, just like an avalanche. A small little snowball just becoming, it's huge. I'm rambling, you get the point. So, finally I have an experience to share with you guys. I actually have something I can explain how it affected my life. And so I really encourage you to start building on who you are today. Stop living so far in the future if that's your problem. If you're a control freak, then let go of things a little bit more. If you let go of things a little bit more, try to discipline yourself, just find a balance. And that's how you will succeed. Subscribe.